Coach, how do you feel to get back on track? After the 3-game losing skid, what took place a couple days ago, and having this positive momentum going into this tournament.
Yeah, we had a great practice yesterday, so I think that played a part. I was really encouraged by our practice and the attitude our players demonstrated coming off a disappointing loss against Loyola Marymount, and we've been emphasizing, getting stops defensively, and I think, our team competed well, and Deuce, naturally was dynamic with his offensive fireworks, and that really helped us in the first half. But I thought Deven Dahlke and Emmanuel Callis, their defensive contributions were the difference in this game. And Deven, also 2 assists, no turnovers, had 10 points, knocked down some threes, and that helped offset PJ having a quiet night. So we needed others to step up, and I feel that's the strength of this team is, we've played different combinations of players. We've had a number of different starting lineups. We've had to overcome a lot of illnesses and injuries. But the positive within that is it's given a number of players, minutes in big moments. And so we can play different combinations. It's a luxury for our staff to be able to go with a big team, to go with a smaller, quicker team, to go with a team that's really capable offensively in terms of shooting the ball. But then we can also put a really capable defensive team on the floor. So Deven Dahlke, Emmanuel Callis, I thought they really stepped up and helped us on the defensive end. And Steven with 13 rebounds, controlled the paint, anchored us. So, and Wayne had a balanced game in terms of getting others involved, moving the ball, but picking his spots to get downhill for some scores and some mid-range shots as well. So the timing of some of Wayne's baskets were important so we could keep Pacific in the rearview mirror and give ourselves a little cushion, put some distance between ourselves and UOP.
Mm-hmm. In that first half, what was it like seeing Wayne, kind of start to get that confidence back, from the last 2 games on top of him getting those back-to-back 3-point plays?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest element is when we're focused on defense, the string of stops and shutouts lead us, in transition for runouts. So our defense is a catalyst for our offense. And Wayne is going to have more opportunities to push the ball down Main Street, to get out and play downhill, as we say, when we get a string of stops or shutouts. And that leads to the runouts. And so Wayne had more opportunities because there were 6 times throughout the game where he had 3 shutouts consecutively, 3 or more stops. Our goal is 7. We call them cookies. 7 cookies is 3 stops or more, and that adds up to a cookie. So who doesn't like cookies? And we like cookies because that means we're playing good defense. And so, yeah, Wayne benefited from us playing, an elevated level of defense. And over the last 3 games before tonight coming in, we were giving up 89 points per game, 55% from the field, and 45% from the 3-point line. And tonight we dropped those numbers. We held them to 69, which was 20 points below what we were giving up over the past 3 games in our defeats, and held their 3-point shooting, I think, to 31%, which was 14% below what teams have been shooting against us from the 3. And then even from the field, I think they were 44%, so that was 11 percentage points lower. So they did step up, and UOP is a dangerous team. When you play someone that's 0-15, you see they're gifted. They played USF into an overtime game earlier this season. They played USF in San Francisco, very tough. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get a win, in this conference tournament. With their quickness and their ability to shoot the ball from long range, they're a little bit snake-bitten in terms of just some games that got away. But that's a gifted team that's well-coached and a capable group that just had a really tough season. And earlier this year, I think they beat the Cal Bears out of the Pac-12. So, And we talked about that with our players. We were going to need a mature, sustained effort and to not pay attention to their record being winless in conference, because that's when you get beat. And they were obviously galvanized and came in here with some resolve and some toughness and kept coming. They were not going to go quietly into the night.
For Emmanuel, he was at, I think, 4 fouls with like 13 minutes left in the second half. What was the decision to bring him back onto the floor for the rest of the game?
Yeah, he's, one of our plumbers. The ability to shut someone's water off from a defensive perspective. And so we wanted to keep that distance, that cushion. And there's been times this year we let leads get away. And I thought Emmanuel, gave us an opportunity to continue to sustain the defensive effort we needed to salt this victory away. And Deven as well, I thought, was really disruptive to opponents and harassed, some of their shooters on the perimeter with his great activity. So it was a strong collective effort, something that's, maybe not in the stats, but PJ Hayes had, 3 hard fouls in a good way in terms of preventing UOP from getting layups, and put him at the foul line. And if I'm not mistaken, on all 3, I think they either missed 1 free throw or both free throws. And that's something we've worked on. We don't want to foul, but sometimes when you have no choice and it's either a layup or let's, commit a hard foul and put him at the free throw line. We're not condoning unsportsmanlike behavior. We're not trying to hurt anybody, but just like, hey, make them earn it at the free throw line. We can't just let someone waltz in there for easy layups. And we've improved in that area. And I thought PJ particularly, there were 3 plays where he kind of came from behind or was hustling down court, and instead of a layup, they had to go to the foul line.
For as much as the rebounding, it's highlighted by Steven getting 13 tonight. What does it mean that this team as a whole was able to out-rebound Pacific tonight?
Yeah, we had a size advantage, so we wanted to really focus on boxing out and collectively rebounding and helping Steven, because sometimes Steven does the work and boxes out his man, but if all 5 of us don't put a body on someone, then other players get a runway to the rim, and they're able to get second, third shots. So I think we made a little progress in terms of our rebounding, and Steve anchors us in that regard. And Jimmy had some rebounds as well, and didn't play a lot of minutes, but I thought was able to pick up a couple boards there.
You mentioned Jimmy, players like him, your freshmen. What's it been like seeing their growth over the course of the season heading into this conference tournament?
Yeah, measurable progress. That's what this second season has been about. We, a year ago, won 11 games overall. Now we're at 17 with an opportunity to pick up some more wins in the conference tournament. In league play, a year ago we were at 4 wins, and now we're at 7. And so that's progress as you climb the ladder in the West Coast Conference. It's difficult, it's challenging, but our players are taking strides in the right direction, both individually in their development and then as a group, playing a cohesive brand of basketball. And proud of their 8 comebacks from double-digit deficits, and we're still trying to find out, but we believe we're the only team in the country. There may be 1 or 2 others, but we're pretty certain that we're the only team in the country this year to come back from double-digit deficits on 8 occasions to win games. And to me, that's just the indication of their resilience, their bounce-back ability, their ingenuity and resourcefulness, the never-quit kind of stick-to-itiveness that you see on display. Even in the Santa Clara game here, while that was a disappointing loss, I think they had us down 19, we cut it to 5, 17, we cut it to 7, and had some open looks that would have made it a 1-possession game when we cut it to 5, and they didn't go down. But that spirit, that fighting spirit is really important as an element, an ingredient, an attribute, a characteristic when you're in sports, right? You've got to have that approach, and more importantly for the rest of their life, because basketball is only going to take you so far. But that resilient spirit and being able to pick yourself up off the mat and keep working, and that's where I'm really proud of this group.
Time for 2 more for Coach.
Yeah. How important is your bench going to be come conference tournament? Having to play, as much as 4 games in 4 days.
Yeah, we, feel that's our strength, and even with the illnesses and the injuries that are well chronicled and unprecedented. I've never had a team that's missed so many practices and games, and yet they've found a way, not making excuses, not feeling sorry for themselves or licking their wounds or woe me, woe us. They just keep bringing it. And I really admire that quality. And as a result of the musical chairs with injuries and everyone having to step up and be ready, that's helped us develop some depth. And I have confidence. Dom Muncie didn't get in the game, but I have as much confidence in him as anyone on our team, because he's a specialist as well in terms of activity and energy and sharing the ball. And he's a great cutter, moves well without the ball. He moves the ball in terms of passing it. But tonight, we weren't able to get him into the game, but have a lot of confidence in our entire team. And I like our depth and the fact that we have versatility to play different combinations of players based on what we need in real time in a particular situation in the game.
Got time for one more? Aiden, anything?
Any key changes heading into the tournament?
We'll tweak a couple things. At this stage of the year, there's the old phrase, the hay's in the barn. But you can still refine elements of your offense, kind of clean up or emphasize in execution. It might be, screening angles or, setting our man up when cutting off a screen. And, we like to mix our defenses. Tonight we played primarily man-to-man because UOP is capable of knocking down threes. And the first time we played them, they made 12 threes against us. So, at this time of the year, you kind of roll with what brought you to this stage of the season. And yet, we have a group that is alert and capable if we do change it up from timeout to timeout or half to half or even game to game. And we did some things defensively with Wayne denying the ball in the first half, trying to disrupt UOP's offensive rhythm. And Deven also was picking up full court, kind of trying to wear down the backcourt of UOP. So there's some things we'll tinker with offensively. We can modify. We might add a couple wrinkles in regards to offense. And then also defensively, how we guard the post, how we guard ball screens, based on their personnel and where we think we can help our team in terms of putting them in a position to be competitive and have an opportunity to win in the postseason.
All right, open up for questions. Deuce Turner.
Deuce, how does it feel to snap this 3-game losing streak, going into the conference tournament?
I mean, that's big for us, even though, every team's good competition in this league, even though they haven't won a game in our league. It's just about us. Like you said, we had a 3-game losing streak, and we was hoping to break that going into the tournament, having high hopes, and just doing what we know that we can do.
What was it like seeing, Wayne had that leg injury a couple of games ago. What was it like seeing him kind of get back on track, 14 points and also adding 4 assists and 6 rebounds?
Yeah, no, that's big for us. Like you said, he's going to be a vital part for us. He's the captain of this team. He's our point guard, so he's our vocal leader in the locker room. I can't say enough good things about him. So that's big for us that we need him, ready, and that's good that, seeing him come back and having a good game going into the tournament because we don't win without him.
How big was it, you get out to, you get a good size lead going into half. How important was it to grow on that lead coming out of the break?
I mean, that was big for us because, typically we kind of stick there. We play up to our comp, and we also play down to our comp. We knew that we were better than this team overall, and some of the keys coming into this game was defense. We just had to get stops, in which we did in the second half. It was big for us to have a good win and not, stress it down the stretch.
Think about, your primary, those players that you rely on the most. It's you, it's PJ, it's Steven, it's Wayne. You always see, throughout that game, you're getting that depth in players like Emmanuel and players like Jimmy to build that depth going into the tournament.
Yeah, no, they're the ones that put us over the top. Like we said, that's even though our court guys putting numbers on the board, stealing rebounds. I'm with points. Wayne does a little bit of everything. PJ shooting. PJ didn't shoot particularly well today, but we know what he's capable of, making 9 threes, breaking records. But those other guys, Dragos, E-Man, Jimmy, Deven, they're the ones that put us over the top. We're not a great group. We're not going to reach our full potential without them. And that's big for them to come in and step up. Dev, shot 4 for 7, 2 for 5 from 3, 10 points, and he's mainly out there to play defense. So we're getting from on defense, and it's huge when he adds that production on offense.
Anything else for Deuce?
Yeah, you had a big game tonight. Was there a moment during the game that you knew you were going to be on tonight?
I mean, I didn't shoot it well last game. That usually always gives me extra motivation going into the next, just especially knowing that we have the tournament, you know, you want to carry momentum. So me shooting well tonight just reflects what I put in yesterday, what I put in this morning, the extra reps, because I was really focused on, you know, if anything from this game, I'm going to put the ball in the basket, do what I do best, carry that into, you know, playing in the tournament, which I'm going to have to do. I would say the biggest moment probably was the 4-point play. That was probably the biggest one that I knew, like, oh yeah, it's one of those nights.
Gabe, 3-game losing streak. How'd it feel to snap that here in this final game going into the tournament?
It was big for us. It's a great way to get us started going into the postseason. Now we're 0-0, so everyone starts 0-0. It's a great way for us to start off again and carry off from this W tonight.
How important is it? You know, you think about Wayne gets 14 points, like I just asked, Deuce, but what's like also seeing Steven get those double-digit rebounds?
It's big. It's big. He's a very big piece for us. Without his presence, I don't think we're as good as we are without him. We need him to get those boards, especially off those misses to carry out for our transition points. So it's big for us. Yeah.
You had a couple of timely threes. How key were that, you know, in order to continue those good stretches?
It's really just practice, being ready, staying down and ready. Coaches always preaches down, staying down, get ready to shoot anytime he catches it. So it's really just being prepared and getting ready to shoot every time I catch it. Not being afraid to shoot when the time comes.
There were times throughout the year where we've seen this team give up some leads. You know, how important was it not to be able to give up tonight's lead?
It was big. Obviously, they're a great team. Not doing very well this season, but they also have a great team, like personnel-wise. But as long as we play defense and we get stops, and it leads to our offense. So as long as we just keep on doing that, we're gonna be tough to give up a lead as well as against a team like Pacific. You know.
Deuce had 30. What was it like? You know, we've seen this all season long. What's it been like seeing him go off for another time this year?
Yeah, he shot 50% from 3, which is big. That's what he does. We call him the score lord. So I mean, Deuce is going to do what Deuce does, and he's big for us. He's a key piece for us, scoring wise. He's also getting better defensively as well. So very key piece for our success this season as well. Can't wait to get into the postseason with him too as well.
For this team as a whole, what was it like when you're seeing in this box score, you see 7 steals at the bottom of that box score, and you had 5 blocks as well?
I thought E-Man was a big piece for our defense as well. He had 2 of the steals. There was a few of us that had 2 steals. PJ and Kev also had 1. That led to 7 steals. Those were key in our transition points, getting stops, and leading into our transition.
What's it been like? You know, you think about being part of last year's team, being part of this year's team, even as a senior. What's it like been seeing the growth from these freshmen that have come in and not really feel like freshmen anymore?
Man, they've grown a lot. They've learned a lot over the course of the season. It's a different team from last season, experiences wise as well. Got a lot of young guys, but they're getting better every single day, every single practice, every single game, and they've been big for us throughout the course of the season.
Dev, I got one for you.
Yep.
One of the older players on this team last year. 6 more regular season wins, 3 more conference wins. You guys proud of the progress you made from last year this year?
For sure. It's really come down to our progress and defensive capabilities. I think we're a great team defensively. We just been struggling lately, getting stops. But as we've seen tonight, a couple of times, we call them cookies, 3 stops in a row, and we got 6 of those tonight. The goal is 7, but 6 is pretty good in terms of getting stops compared to the last couple games. So we progressed a little bit over the course of the season. It's going to carry on throughout the postseason as well. It's going to be big.
Anything else for Dev?